All right, so today our topic that we're going to talk about is exploring task management in Microsoft 365 and looking at your personal task versus your team task that you might be working on and the different tools that are available to you with Microsoft 365. So I am with Centric Training. If any, I think probably a few of you have heard of us. I am on the Microsoft Cloud 365 team on the corporate side of our business. And so we do all types of training, public classes, we do customized training for organizations around Microsoft 365. And then, of course, we have an IT career side of our business for individuals that are looking to get a certification in as little as 4 months. And we have an amazing team of people that helps our graduates get hired and to find jobs once they've got that certification. So Centric has an all-around community of people that care about their students and clients. So just wanted to quickly go over just a couple of the courses that we offer with 365. We offer a SharePoint immersion. So if you are looking to become an expert in SharePoint, it is a 4-day workshop. Awesome class. I teach that. I have Nate Chamberlain on the call with us today. He's part of our team at Centric. And these classes, we have built our own curriculum. You're in a lab environment, real hands-on experience for all of these courses. So we do a 365 apps, and that gets you some end user experience on all of the Microsoft 365 applications. If you are a person that likes OneNote, and you know, OneNote isn't just for agenda. It can be used for note taking. It can be used for, we use it for our manuals that we use to keep those updated. All types of uses for OneNote. And then, of course, we offer some Teams courses. The Teams Essentials is great for a lot of organizations that launched their company out into Teams with no training and during COVID. And so that Essentials class is pretty good. Teams is so much more than just a chat and a meeting application. And then for the more advanced, we offer a Workday Advanced class, and each one of those are just 1 day. So I am part of, as I mentioned, the Microsoft 365 team at Centric. There are 3 of us with over 30 years experience, 40 years experience around all the Microsoft products, 365. We've built quite a curriculum, and we now actually offer a video library for companies that are looking for more of training that can be customized around your time, where you can watch a video to learn the products. And so a little bit about me. I started using SharePoint about 10, 11 years ago when I was looking for an application that other departments could use, where we could house documents that logistics, that customer service, that sales, we could all access versus going into a network drive. And so I fell in love with the product, housing content, documents that we needed. And I have worked in SharePoint over the past, as I said, 10 years as it's grown and changed. And once it evolved into the SharePoint Online, I found even more reason to love the product because of all the different ways it integrates with other applications, the way Microsoft updates its product to make the user experience more efficient and better and easier to understand. So that's just a few of the reasons that I like the SharePoint, the Teams, all of the application integration that Microsoft gives us. So before I go into presentation and live environment, I kind of wanted to ask a few questions about the people I have on the call today. and ask you what, using an application called Vivox, to kind of do a quick survey or a poll. And I'm curious what people are currently using for your personal task management. And it's as simple as going to the Vivox app, and you can type in that code to fill out your answer, or you can scan the QR code with your mobile device and you can type your answers in there. So I'll give everybody a couple minutes because I'm curious. When I think about task management, and we've probably all been doing it most of our careers, I go back to the day when I had a notebook. And I would either every night or every Sunday write down my task that I had for that week. I color coded each item with a highlighter as far as when it was due. And so I'm going to go ahead and show some results here. What kind of responses we're getting. So it looks like planner sticky notes, index cards, planner smart sheets. We've got people using the to-do and the OneNote, project online, MS Planner. So a lot of people using Microsoft. I don't see pad and paper anywhere. So sounds like people are using the tools that we have. And yeah, today we're going to talk about using the Microsoft To Do to its fullest and how it does work with a lot of the other applications and when to use Planner. And then if you can't find a tool within those, do you want to customize a list, the list application? So it looks like we have quite a few responses here. A lot of them revolving around Microsoft, my cranium. That's the brain, I'm assuming. Okay, so I have one other poll question to ask. Okay, bear with me, this is my first time. So now I want to ask you all, and you can, this should be open. How do you manage when you're in a group and you're working around a project or an initiative within your company? How do you manage those tasks? Most people a lot of people might say project, Microsoft Project. I've used that in the past. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes. I'm curious to see how people are, if you're using Jira, one of the other applications to manage projects. All right, let's take a look at our responses. Oh, there you go. Planner, project, Jira. Planner, to do, smart sheets, OneNote. My wife's mad skills. She's awesome. Excel. MS Task. So it looks like everybody has a pretty good base for your project management or your team task. Some of these I haven't heard of. But what the great thing I want to talk about today are the resources that Microsoft gives us under Microsoft 365 and how we can utilize those. So just wanted to get an idea of what people were using. Gonna go back into PowerPoint here, and the three main applications we'll be talking about today is utilizing To Do, which I want you to think about as more granular. This will be managing your personal task that you might have individual or just if you're just working with a few coworkers on task, but you would be managing that unless you share it. So those are more singular tasks versus planner, where you'll be using more project management skills for a team or around a group or having an initiative that you're trying to achieve. And then we have the list application. And if planner doesn't meet your needs, you have the list application, which you can customize, creating your own columns and fields. They have some pretty awesome templates also out there that we'll take a look at that can be customized to fit your needs. So these are the three main applications we'll be talking about today. How do you get to most of those applications? If you're not familiar, going into office.com. Most of you on the call are probably familiar with this page. This is considered your office home page where you can access all of the applications that you have access to by using in the upper left-hand corner, the app launcher. Now, the applications that you have available might be different than what you see here. You'll also find a lot of other great resources on the home page, such as documents you have recently accessed, documents or content that has been shared with you, and you also have the ability to favorite or bookmark on this page, content or documents that you use and you want to access quickly. So I'm going to start with To Do. And I like to, I use To Do all of the time. I use it on my desktop. I use it on my mobile device to manage my task. I use it for personal and for business. So I want you to think about To Do as a place to house personal and work task items, a way to organize and prioritize because they give you due dates. They give the ability to apply categories and reminders for your task. You can create groups and then put lists underneath that group. Maybe you have a small initiative, and I'll show an example of that. That doesn't really fit into a planner. It's not large enough for a planner or a list. A group is a good thing to start with. And you also, from To Do, can manage some of the planner tasks that have been assigned to you. And you can also manage flagged emails from Outlook. So there's a lot of Outlook integration in To Do. So just a quick screenshot of what your To Do looks like. We'll go in there in a moment. You can kind of see, you have your navigation over here. You can go into your day, what you have to accomplish for that day. You can add detail around a task. Here's an example of a group, but let me go ahead and jump in to the environment I'm going to be using today. So I am actually in our training tenant at Centric, and I am considered trainer B1 in our grouping. And I'm going to go ahead and open To Do by selecting the check mark. And so let me walk you quickly through the navigation. So trainer B1, here are the items that I have planned for myself. I've got personal items, and then I have work. And so I have categorized some of the items in my day today. So just for example, pay phone bill. And so one of the things I like about this is I can add it to my day. I can put out reminders for myself that will pop up with notifications. I can assign a due date. I can put it on repeat Perhaps it's something I do on a monthly or weekly basis. I have assigned categories to my to-do. So I have assigned personal for this one. I've got categories for centric, training. So you can build out in your Outlook settings is where you can build out those categories. I can even attach a file if I'd like. So as you can see, I've got a nice little list of things to do today. Some are personal, some are work related. By selecting the star, it adds it to important. So I want to make sure I pay that phone bill today. I mark it as important. And it shows up over here in my important list of things to do. I can also have the ability to sort my day task by importance, by due date, alphabetically, or by creation date. Let's move on from my day into important. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but I can also add task right into important. I can select items, take a look at them, get the detail behind that task. I can add steps into my task. For example, set dates for this L&L series, Lunch and Learn. So maybe I have some additional steps that need to happen. I need to see when people are available for speakers. So I could add this an additional step in here. And that is a step that I need to do in order to complete my task. And I might want to, let's, for this example, add a reminder. So I'm going to do a reminder for tomorrow at 9 a.m. and that will give me a little notification. Going down into planned. And so I have quite a few items planned. This is kind of a dump of everything that Trainer B1 has going on. So items from today, tomorrow, things I have going on next week. And all of these can be modified. Now, the thing I want to call out, and I'm not sure if you can see, but some of these circles are different colored. And so that is tied to whether they're coming from a plan in Planner or task. And so, for example, this develop new marketing plan, this is coming out of Planner. And I should mention, once you achieve your task, going back to my day, deposit check into savings, I can check that off and it will go into completed. And as I mentioned, I use this throughout my day on my desktop and on my phone. So if I'm running errands and I'm getting things done, I can check them off your list. And for me, just getting that item checked off gives you that feel of accomplishment. And I think that applies to organization, task management, achieving goals. Checking off that box is kind of nice. And so going back into do, here is a field or an item called assigned to me. Now, these are a place where I can access tasks that are coming out of the Planner application. So these are specific tasks coming from Planner that have been assigned to Trainer B1. And so I can go in to select that item, and this is submit plans to city for permits. And so it has a little checklist. I can choose to open in Teams. And so these are specific items coming out of the Planner application that have been assigned to trainer B1. Now, I want to call out and mention, because some people might not see items assigned to you from planner or flagged. And that is a setting that you need to turn on in your to-do. So you go up to your gear and you're going to go to your to-do settings. And you've got some fun stuff here, those sounds and things like that. But it's the smart list that you might want to adjust. Important, planned, assigned to me. Here are the applications that you might want to connect to, such as Planner and your flagged emails in Outlook. So that is in your to-do settings. So I had, as I mentioned, here are the items assigned to me from Planner. I can also mark as important if I'd like for me. That isn't affecting anything in Planner. That is just for my purposes. The next item below that I did turn on in my settings are flagged emails. So if you're familiar with Outlook, let me go back to Outlook real quick. And I am in Outlook on the browser. So I might have an email that comes through. I'll just grab one of these. And the options I have are to flag it, give people a thumbs up. I can also come over here and I can pin. So just another resource that Microsoft gives us. Pinning takes it to the top of your navigation up here. So you have all of the important emails, whether they've been flagged or they've been pinned. Pinning takes it to the top of your rail here. Flagging will pull it in and add this little red flag, but it will also pull it in into the to-do as flagged messages. Now, one of the things I like to do, if I have an item, an email, maybe I want to create a task off of that email. And so I have a student that is volunteering to be part of a team for this Lunch and Learn. And I want to create a task. So up here in my navigation, I have incorporated my day. And what I can do is I can drag and drop that particular email. I'll do that real slowly. I'm over in my inbox and I'm holding down my mouse and I'm bringing that item over to create a task. And then I can click on that task back in to do and I can add some detail to that specific Outlook item. So I have added that item into my task here from that Outlook email. And here I can see the email. I can open that in Outlook. I can add a step. Add these students to the Lunch and Learn team. So that is just one way. Outlook and to do, you can incorporate the two to help you manage tasks, manage out emails that you've got coming through into to do. Now we have in to do groups that you can form, and I talked about this earlier. It doesn't have to be just a group of people. It can just be two people. An example of this would be I have a group I formed for my 21-22 goals. And I created task and list for all of my goals at Centric. I then took that list and that group and I shared it with my boss so that we can both take a look at those goals in that list. We can check things off. We can manage those lists together. So the example I'm going to use here is this group I created called M365 Lunch and Learn series. Now you create a group coming down to the lower right hand of your navigation here, and it's got a little plus icon. So I don't know if I would call this, it's a group of lists, not necessarily a group of people. So I created this group for M365 Lunch and Learn, and below that I have lists that I've created that apply to this grouping. And if I want to share this particular list, I can come up to the upper right-hand corner and I can see that currently I can share my list via email or copy the link. There also is the ability to manage access. So if I want to limit access with the current members, I can turn that, cancel, on and off. But the example I used was that I have a list of my goals for 21 and 22, and that my manager can see those goals and can help me create and manage those. And he can also take a look at them to see what I've gotten done. So once again, Trainer B1 has this Lunch and Learn grouping with lists underneath there. They've got SharePoint Launch, a move, a fall festival planning. So all of those are small groupings that I manage in our training environment, with have list included in those groups. So any questions so far about the to-do application? Does anyone want to share how they currently are using to-do?
As a reoccurring task for some of the things I have to make sure employees have requested linked 3 different sites. Those pops up every.
Yeah, I mean, I have responsibilities at work that I got going on a monthly basis that I use my task for. I also said I use those for my goals. I use to-do and I grab Outlook emails and I create tasks off of Outlook. Anyone else want to share what they use to-do for? Yes, Nate, you are the master of creating tasks and sharing. Okay, I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint here. I did want to show, if you are not using the mobile device, kind of what the mobile device looks like. And so this is from my mobile device in Trainer B1, and the navigation looks very similar with my day, important, planned, some of the groups and the list. If I select my day, it opens up into a listing of items for my day, and I can open each one of those, check things off, update the fields, just like what I have here. I also, I can grab my flagged emails, respond to those. So that's just a little bit about what the mobile of the to-do app looks like. Now let's talk about Planner. And planner, I think of as our task as a team. Planner is often used for, as I said, completing a goal or an initiative, a project that is a light project. People often refer to it as Microsoft Project Lite. So there is no budget or number management in Planner. So you can get to your planner by using your app launcher and opening Planner. That takes you to the Planner Hub. If you are working in a Microsoft 365 group, you'll know that Planner comes with your group, which gives you the ability to collaborate on different plans with your group. So it is team-based. The tasks are built out in Kanban boards. You have different groupings that you can look at. You can use charts or schedule calendar views. You have the ability to create unique labels for task management. You can export a planner into Excel. One of my favorite things about Planner is how you can incorporate Planner into Teams or into SharePoint as a web part. That way your team and your group is available of the status on various tasks at all times. And then you have the Planner Hub where you can view all of the plans that you are a member of, and you can favorite plans. So you can get to the plans that you need quickly. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the application, but this kind of gives you a quick screenshot of the Planner app. Tasks are put into categories or buckets. Let me get out of my PowerPoint here. Going to go ahead and open Planner. If I click on Planner up in the upper left-hand corner, this is the Planner Hub. And here I can favorite certain plans, maybe that are active and I'm currently a part of. It gives me a quick snapshot into the status of that particular plan, what items are started, what are not started, what's in progress. If I have some late items, things are completed. And the example I was going to work on today and show is demonstrates called the office remodel plan. So I'm just to walk you through this homepage. Here are some recent plans that Trainer B1 has worked on. Microsoft gives me a recommended plan. They think I should be a part of that. And then all. So I'm only going to see plans that Trainer B1 has access to. And I think that that's important to note. So I'm going to go ahead and open my office remodel plan. So our company is doing a remodel on the office before everyone comes back in January, back to working in the office. So they have built out tasks around certain buckets of part of this project. So they have design plans and approvals. They have items tasked around contractors, purchasing, and logistics. And it also comes with a column or a field called to do. And so let me just open up one of these tasks. This one is called submit plans to city for permits. And I can see this is assigned to Trainer B1. You can add additional people. You don't have to just assign one person to a task. Here's where I can add a label, and that's where those labels come in handy. You create the labels. You can customize these. So for these, this project, I might need, let's see, this might involve approval. So we're going to need the city's approval on these permits. But as I said, you can customize these labels. I can adjust the bucket. I can manage the progress. And my options are not started, in progress, and completed. I can put a priority around a task, whether it's urgent, whether this is important, and I might change this to important because I want to get my plans into the city. We want to get these permits going. I have a start date and a due date. I can type in notes around this particular task that will be recorded. I can create checklist of items that need to happen in order to get this task, to achieve this task. So submit plans, permits, inspections, and as I'm going, I can check things off. I can also add attachments to this particular task. Maybe I have a spreadsheet on the papers or communications with the city. I can add comments, and as you can see, they are recorded. And please notify team once drawings have been submitted. Thanks. And when something has been completed, I can simply check that off, or I can change the progress. All right, so you can see that we have several tasks here, and some of these have been assigned to other people. So this is the Kanban board type of view. We also have charts that we can look at in Planner. This gives us a status on items that been started, not in progress, anything that's late, a snapshot by bucket. How are we doing? Doesn't look like we have anything late, so that's good. By priority. And then we can see assigned, who have items been assigned to. If you like the calendar or the schedule view, you have this tab here. And you can see some of these have more than one item. One of my favorite things about Planner is the group by feature. And so I think this is helpful if you are managing a planner. You've got a lot of people working on different projects. And so currently I'm looking at the bucket view. But I can go into assign to, and I can see what people have on their plate. And I can see that, you know, student B2 here has got quite a bit on their plate. Maybe I want to move something over here. From maybe the moving bids to this moving companies and assign this over to student B5. So all these can be dragged and dropped. We also have some other views here by progress, by due date, and those labels. Here's where those labels come in handy. Creating those labels for your different tasks. And then lastly, priority. Now, I am in, as I mentioned, this office remodel. I can get back to my planner hub here. I can also create new plans, but you have to remember, if you create a new plan, you're going to be creating a new group. I can also get to my task. And these are the tasks coming from various plans that are assigned, excuse me, to trainer B1. And of course, I have some different views I can look at if I just want to look by the plan. So I've got Contoso team plan, new product launch. I've got my office remodel and the various products or plans I'm a part of. So, excuse me. I'm still kind of recovering from a sickness I had a little bit ago. Now, one of the great things I mentioned earlier is how I can incorporate Planner into different applications or integrate. And this is something that I think everyone should have the ability to do. If you have a plan that you are working on, such as this office remodel, and you are working in Teams or you are working in SharePoint, and you want people to have visibility to this plan versus having to go out to that planner. You want to incorporate that plan into your team channel so that everyone has visibility to what's going on, what things are getting done, when statuses are changing. So you have the ability to add, by hitting that plus icon, you have the ability to bring in a plan. And let me go ahead and remove this one and show you how to do this. So I am in my general channel of our ops team here. And I simply would hit that plus icon and I could search, or I could to type in task or type in planner. And it's going to go out to planner. It's going to say, do you want to create a new plan? Or do you want to use an existing? And so here is where I'm going to pull in that office remodel plan that I'd like to share with everyone and hit save. And so now we have access to that plan. I can open a task. I can update a task and say that this bids from the moving company. We've got that started. So I'm going to add a start date of today. And just click off and that will be updated. I could also go out into SharePoint and I could open a news page. It looks like I'm posting about the office remodel as news, but perhaps I want to pull in as a web part, add a section, and I could even pull in that planner here. And for some reason, let's see, charts. There we go. Well, sometimes it takes a minute to sync. Save as a draft, but you have the ability to pull planner. It's just not syncing that well today. And I'm going to update my page. And that would be another way to incorporate planner into either SharePoint or you can pull it into Teams. And so that application integrates nicely. So any questions about using planner as a task management for your group? Looks like Angela, you said the mobile is the best. Are you talking about to do or are you talking about planner? Okay, to do. Yeah, the mobile device is pretty cool. And it's nice because it's just right there. The notifications for planners. Are you saying when they're assigned, Nate? Okay, so if I were to assign a task, you would also get a notification email. You could also go into to do. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that, and go back to that assign to me. And there are your items that have been assigned to you for those particular plans. And you can manage those from there. Nate, do you have any other suggestions? Oh, I was not going to go into Power Automate today. But yes, I'm sure you have the ability to create a flow off of an item in Planner. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure how to do that out of Planner. But from Outlook, perhaps. I do know that we are building out a Power Platform course, and Nate is in charge of that. They'll be doing Power BI and Power Automate, but those are not my specialties. So, any other questions? I was curious if anyone on the call is currently using Planner and how you're using Planner. If anyone wants to unmute themselves. Are you using for projects? Are you using it for initiatives?
We're using Planner for a couple of projects. A lot of our stuff though is in Smartsheet.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Smartsheets. Looks like we have some people typing. And it is already 12:45. So I am going to, okay, Jonathan Weaver mentioned we use Planner in our construction project sites more or less as a checklist of all the steps they need to complete for a project. So yeah, I mean, it is nice that you have the ability just to use it almost as a checklist. And you could probably just use that to do bucket. All right, so I've talked about to do and I've talked about Planner, but what if those two products or applications don't quite fit your need and you need something that you can customize? Fields or columns that you want to customize that Planner doesn't give you. That is where the list application comes into play. Now, recently in the past, I guess it's almost a year already, List came out as its own app versus just being in SharePoint. And the great thing about List now is they have these amazing templates that are out there. They also you have the ability to create your own template, perhaps, and you'd see that under from your organization. They have options as far as creating lists from blank, pulling a list in from an Excel table, or using an existing list and modifying an existing list. So here is an example of a work progress tracker. And this is a template that they are given out of the List app. And they already have a lot of the columns built in for you in this template. And so I'm going to get out of my PowerPoint here and go into Going into the list app, I would go into my app launcher. And I could open list, or if I were in SharePoint, I could go in, if I was in my SharePoint site, and access the list from there. And Ricardo added, additionally, you can take list offline with the list sync client. Yes. Thank you. And so if I go to a new list, we have the search here in list. You have your settings. You have list that I have favorited. I have recent list and I have my list. And so I want to go into new to start with and just kind of show you, I showed you the PowerPoint snapshot of these templates that they have available. The issue tracker is one I think that people use quite a bit. Asset manager, work progress tracker. And as I mentioned, you can just start with a blank sheet or a blank list. You can incorporate an Excel table or start from an existing list. And so the list that I started regards to our office remodel, and I have favorited it. And it is a part of a group that is part of a SharePoint site that has that attached. What is going on here? Let's refresh. There we go. Okay, so this is the office remodel list, and it was one of the templates, the asset manager template, and I chose to edit some of the fields. And the great thing about list is I can always add more columns. I can go into this existing list and I can modify some of these fields if I'd like. And so you can build your list out by adding new. And that opens up into kind of this form type of look where I could type in, let me add something new here, new printers for sales. And I could put a status around that. They're at the cost review. I could pick a manufacturer. And all of these fields are considered a data type. So those could be choice, they could be text, they could be a numerical value. Here we've got a field for order number, purchase price. Not sure what just happened there. It doesn't like that numerical value. And current owner, this is a people data type, so I could say that student B2 is currently the owner. I could enter a date, which gives me the calendar field. And so I was just mentioning that all of these fields can be edited that are part of the template. The data types can be changed, choices can be added. And as I mentioned, if this doesn't meet your needs, you can also choose to add a column. And here are some of the data types that you can add in. Single line of text, if you want to add multiple lines of text, maybe for a description. You've got numbers, yes and no. People will go out into your tenant. You can pull in people's names that are part of your organization. And they almost are a choice field, date and time. And then once you build out your list, you can incorporate that into Teams. You can bring it into SharePoint on a page. so they integrate well. You can go into edit in grid view. This kind of takes you versus doing new. Maybe you need to make some changes, but this kind of gives you a look and feel of either Excel or a table. So if the to-do doesn't work and the planner isn't detailed enough, list is a great option. It gives you, as I mentioned, gives you the ability to customize columns. And in part of our SharePoint course, we also go in pretty good detail about building out different templates, different lists. Within a list, you can create awesome views so that people can filter down and sort into the content that they need. They can create these views. Looks like Nate is adding something. And as was mentioned earlier, you can add in that Power Automate side of things. Thank you, Nate, for sharing that. Yes, Microsoft has a great resource out there called Day in the Life. And it goes into different sides of businesses or different types of businesses and talks about how these people use the different Microsoft 365 apps throughout their day. And so, as I mentioned, you could build a flow that might say someone adds something new to the list and you want to be notified via email. You could set a Power Automate or a flow into that list. So the advantages of the list application, yes, it integrates with Teams. Yes, it integrates with SharePoint. It can be a standalone app. You can create views and you can customize the fields and the columns to the data that you want. So the one thing I wanted to stress out of today is, yes, you have some great tools, but you also have applications that integrate with each other. So they're not just standalone applications. If you're using Teams, you can pull in the planner. You can pull in list. If you're working more in the SharePoint side of the business, you have the ability to create web pages where you can display your list or your planner, and people can be working on these applications live. So the one thing that, I talk about, people, you're used to using a certain method, or you have certain habits and you want to start using the Microsoft 365 applications, incorporating change. And so that means communicating regularly with your team. Hey, I've created a planner and plan, and I think this would be a great tool for us to use on launching our product. Let's build out some buckets. Let's have a meeting. And we'll go into our Teams meeting and we'll pull in the planner and work on that together. I recommend building out a champions network of people that like change, that are comfortable working in a changing environment or with new technology. And these champions are willing to work with others and train others and share their experiences using these applications. When changing your daily process, create a habit. And I think everyone that knows, whether it's using a new Microsoft application or changing your exercise plan, habit is everything. Getting up every morning and following through on the change that you're trying to make. Communicate with others on the changes that you're making so that you are held accountable. Hey, I thought we were going to start using this planner application. I haven't seen people using it. Let's talk again and make sure everybody's had proper training or that they're educated on how easy it is to use planner. Once again, training and education. That means taking the time to educate people on the applications and showing how easy they are and communicating the goals and what you're trying to achieve around using this new technology or applications. Whether it's efficiency, whether it's collaboration, whether it's ease of use, it's important to communicate what your end goal is by using these applications. I've worked with a lot of companies where they were just rolling out Microsoft 365, and change is hard, change is different. And education, Champions Network, lunch and learns, anything you can do to communicate with people, showing them the end goal helps change happen.